We're Sid and Mackie, and we're professional mountain bikers on a quest to race the best and most challenging mountain bike races all around the world. While we've raced everything from enduro to downhill to 12-hour endurance races over the years, 2022 we have mainly been focused on cross country. And we've been lucky enough to be racing cross country on our dream bike, a 100 and 120 mil bike that absolutely shreds the descents. However, there's just one catch. We haven't been able to tell anyone about this bike. Until now.
All right, do you want to tell them what it is? Or should I tell them what it is?
Today is a very exciting day. We finally get to do a bike check on this channel, which I think might be our first of the year. And that is because for pretty much all of the cross-country racing that we have been doing, with the exception of when Mackie's been on the single speed, obviously, we have been racing a prototype Niner Bikes Rkt 9 RDO. And that bike has now, as of Wednesday, officially launched.
We've been calling it our secret bike.
Yes. It's not the best kept secret in the whole world, but I think we did okay. We're gonna go through our build on this bike, and then we're gonna rewind a little bit and show you guys what the process was, like how we were able to contribute to the development of this bike, and then also just kind of go through the race footage from the past 8 months. Mackie's been on it for 8 months.
9 months?
9 months, and sort of like give our thoughts. Oh, that was much better.
Good job.
Okay, so this frame is an unpainted prototype frame. We do also have a painted frame, but we were not able to use that, obviously, because the bike was under wraps. So this is the bike that I've been riding. Mackie's is pretty much identical.
The funny part is we were not allowed to use the painted one to like not draw attention to the bike.
Right.
But I wonder if it actually drew more attention because people are like, what is that unpainted frame?
The previous Niner RKT, which stands for Record Known Time, by the way, that is their XC bike line.
But everybody just calls it the Rocket.
Yes, the Rocket. And we'll probably continue calling it the Rocket. This previous one was 90 millimeters in the back, and now gone up to 100, and the stock bike is 100 in the front. We chose to go a little bit bigger and put a 120 mil 34. We just did that because we like going fast downhill, and it's good to have like a little extra.
And this bike is designed to use either a 100 or a 120 mil fork. So we were like, yeah, we'll just do the 120 mil fork, give a little bit extra descending capability.
Smidge slacker with the bigger fork.
Like half a degree or something.
The big changes between the previous Rocket and this one are kind of what you would expect, which is a more progressive geometry. So slacker, longer, steeper seat tube, whatever that's called. Steeper one of these, slightly bigger suspension. So it is still definitely an XC bike. That said, we have absolutely been loving how this bike descends, and this is kind of the bike that I have wanted to have for years because I really like light, fast bikes, especially right now, and my climbing is like not really where I would like it to be. Like, I just love how light this bike is, how well it climbs. This bike currently weighs a little over 26 pounds, which is by far the lightest bike I have ever owned. However, coming from an enduro background, that's not saying a whole lot, and a lot of people have been like, that's not that light. I think the stock build for this bike, or at least the closest stock build to what we have, so Shimano and Fox, will be more in the 24.5 to 25. We have kind of some beefy parts on here. I'm actually gonna do a video in the next couple weeks of me rebuilding this bike to be as light as possible. And I will say, like, this probably the perfect build for something like Moab Rock stage race that we did, which is extremely rough. So like that's not the place to bring your like super lightweight build. So I've been really happy with this so far. On the front, we have the Fox Float, 34, 120 mils of suspension, Shimano XT wheels, which not the world's lightest wheels, but pretty indestructible. We've been experimenting with tires this year. We don't have a tire sponsor for this year, so we've recently been trying out the Maxxis Recon Race, which we've been really pleased with. These are a 2.4. I have XT 2-piston brakes.
4-piston.
They are the 4-piston.
Yeah. So you have beefy brakes.
Yeah, I like beefy brakes, but we may swap these for XTR 2-piston brakes because that would be a bit of a weight saving thing. But yeah, no complaints. 180 in the front, 160 in the back?
Yep. So basically you've been running like a pretty heavy enduro style brake set.
Yeah, but I like it.
Yeah.
This bike also has a remote lockout, which I am obsessed with this. I don't know how I've raced XC without a lockout before. I use this all the time, and then when I ride my other bikes, I'm like doing this with my thumb. And I'm like, oh no, I have to bend all the way down. Anyway, it's kind of the best. For the cockpit, I'm running a 60mm stem and then Shimano Pro handlebars, which we have cut to 740. We have lots of thoughts about handlebar width. Most people seem to think they need them out like this. You don't. Velo grips with, I did hit a tree. There's still some tree in there. That's from Breckenridge. We have a Fox transfer dropper post. I think this is 125.
150.
Gosh, my legs are long. This is the Velo Senso Tt Plus saddle. As far as choosing a saddle goes, the most important thing is getting one that is the right width for your booty bones. And this is the one that I've landed on. I have it on all of my bikes. Fox Float DPS on the back. I do have a full XTR drivetrain, obviously super duper light.
Ooh,
When did
little
that
scratch.
Oops.
Oops, sorry bike.
So the other thing that I have, especially on this bike for XC racing and training, is the dual-sided stages power.
So power meter on that side and power meter on that side.
This is probably overkill for most people, but because of the injuries that I've had, it's really important for me to stay on top of the power balance, so right to left, just to kind of make sure that my left leg is pulling its weight, which it has been doing, which is awesome. These are the Speedo Cxr Pros. It's my favorite part of the bike check. It's a fidget spinner on your bike. Lastly, this isn't really part of the bike build, but this is something we get questions about all the time. This is the Mule Mount. I don't know what this particular device is called, but I really...
Quick draw.
The quick draw. That's cute. It is a plug in here, and there's like a little magnet in there, so it is not going to fall out. And then these are also magneted, so this is a 12-speed quick link. I'm not going to pull it out, to be honest, but it sticks in there and is magneted on. And I don't know, this has gone through a lot and nothing has ever fallen off. And when you get it flat, you just go.
Well, now it's finally time to back up and share how this bike has performed over the past 8 months of racing. So let's rewind. In late August of 2021, we picked up a prototype Rkt frame from Niner headquarters.
This is very rough prototype. You can see they're just CNC links that I rattle canned, so they don't look obnoxious. So we're still waiting for kind of samples on those as far as production samples go.
Okay.
And they'll have all the labeling and all that cool stuff on them. I'm Peter Field. I'm the lead R&D engineer. I get the prototypes. I build them all up, make sure there's not anything weird going on with them, make sure every part fits as it should, send them out to people like Sid and Mackie to ride, test, get feedback on shock tunes, see what they think. But in general, it's kind of trends like most bikes, a little slacker, a little lower, a little longer.
Cool.
We do have a flip chip in the lower shock element as well.
So it's 100 in the back and then 100 or 120 in the front.
Yeah, full internal guide tubes, which is new for the Rkt.
Okay.
It'll have an internal guide tube for the lockout
Okay.
as well.
We received pretty specific instructions. Try to break it and keep it a secret.
I just want you to ride the living crap out of it.
Okay.
And if there's any issues whatsoever, any creaks, any pops, anything, like, we want to know about it.
For my first ride, I just took it out on some local cross-country trails. I figured cross-country bike, should just see how it rides. And I immediately noticed that it felt a lot like the Jet, despite being 20 millimeters less travel. And I absolutely love how the Jet descends, so I was stoked. And because it felt so much like the Jet, I decided to really put it through its paces. And so headed to Angel Fire Bike Park to do some park laps Unfortunately, we didn't record this ride, so don't have footage from it, but let's just say it handled everything ridiculously well. Blacks, double blacks, never felt sketchy. I was even able to keep up with Sid and Alex and JJ, who were all riding at least 150 mil travel bikes.
Clearly, putting this bike through its paces was not going to be a problem. But keeping it a secret for almost an entire year? Well, we definitely had to resort to some sneaky video editing sleight of hand. You may have noticed a lot of straight-on shots, extremely fast shots, the odd weirdly cropped shot. We even brought on Coach Mike's son Rocco to shoot an extremely chaotic bike check to allay suspicion.
So on the front, there's Victoria Barzo, and then that is my foot.
However, some of you were definitely onto us, or at the very least confused about why we didn't tell you about the bike we were racing. After hearing Mackie wax eloquent about the new Rkt, I was dying to try it out. I finally got to build up my own in February of this year, shortly before we headed to Phoenix to shoot the launch video with Niner. After spending some time on the Rkt in Sedona, I came to the same conclusion that Mackie had. This is an amazing bike that climbs like an XC bike should, but definitely doesn't feel like a 100mm bike on the descents. I was super excited to have it for all the cross-country racing we were planning this year.
Nice.
The race I was most excited about testing the new Rkt at was the Moab Rocks 3-day stage race. Having raced it in 2019, I knew the trails were rough and rocky with some high-speed descents, but also that there were some long, hard dirt road climbs where I was going to need a true cross-country race bike if I wanted a shot at a good result. The last time I'd raced Moab Rocks was on a 130-140mm trail bike, the Jameis Portal, so I was hoping the Rkt would give me that descending feel, but in a lighter weight package and with better pedaling efficiency. And that's exactly what it did. I set PRs both up and downhill on all 3 days, including on sections of trail where I'd raced enduro in the past. I won the second day's stage and ended up second in the race, missing the win by less than 40 seconds after almost 6 combined hours of racing. Needless to say, I was stoked on the bike. I also rode the new Rkt to a podium spot at the Road Apple Rally and won a just for fun downhill race in Michigan, solidifying my conclusion that it was an awesome XC race machine with some serious descending capabilities. And try as I might, I could never break it.
Yes. Nice.
Over the course of this year, we've really put the bike to the test, racing Moab Rocks yet again, as well as 12 hours of Mesa Verde, where we won the duo category. We also raced the Gunnison Growler Big Bad 40, the Winter Park Primal Point to Point, and the Firecracker 50. Every race I do on the Rkt, I love it more and more. We'll be doing a ton more racing on this bike this year, including a 6-day stage race in Canada, where we'll be able to test the bike on even more technical single track.
As you guys can see, we're very, very excited about the new Rkt, and we're very excited that we finally get to talk about it. We just haven't been able to for so long, and it's been so hard. It's launched, it's official. If you haven't watched Niner's launch video, you should go watch it. It's hilarious.
And it was a ton of fun to shoot. So we really appreciate Niner in general just being such a fun-minded brand.
We will see you guys next week, and in the meantime, don't forget
to be more awesome and subscribe.
That's a good thing too.